So, good evening. How is everybody doing tonight? Marvelous people, the learners that want to grow and learn and work on their mindset and entrepreneurship. This is You Got This.
You got this.
I am Stephen McConnell. I am founder and CEO of Growth Mindset Initiative. I'm an author, speaker, and coach. And we'll go into more details about that in a little bit. This is Lakanya.
Happy Thursday, beautiful people. I am Laconia Reed. I too am an entrepreneur. I own a group practice, Choices International, where we provide therapeutic services for you. I'm also the owner of So Say Me. It is an online store that offers inspirational quotes for the community that's about recovery, about rest, and about movement. So thank you for having me.
And tonight we are going to be talking about mastery and resilience. So we had gone through this journey over the last four episodes. Tonight's the fifth episode. We're talking about you got this, the this. The
Yes.
this is usually the current moment, the object in your way, the bottleneck, the struggle, but it also is, if you're long term planning, your North Star and where you're going, what you're passionate about. Part of that this is what are you mastering?
Mhm.
And I, I, I know that we say resilience, but sometimes as an entrepreneur, we need to have the mindset of grit just to kind of sort of get real there is just to have this. I get down, I'm dirty, I've got the banged up knees and the banged up elbows because I fell, and I've got to get back up and continue the progress no matter what. I don't have time to wash my hands or anything like that. I've just got to have the grit to keep going.
So that's a good point. So you just enlightened me because my question was going to be, and I'm not sure if the audience, if that question ever came up for you, how to distinguish between grit and resilience, mastering resilience. Can you run that back again so we can understand how we can distinguish? Because resiliency is one thing, and what I'm hearing you say, grit is another. How do we know which switch, if you will, to turn on so that we can become proficient in that thing? Consistency in our proficiency, leading to the point of tonight's conversation about mastery.
So resilience is, I want to simply say that, I don't have the perfect definition, but if I were to sit there and think about it, resilience is more of long-term mindset of I need to get this done, plan this, do this, and staying true to it,
Okay.
not distracting yourself. I would define grit, my personal definition of grit would be stuff happens
Mm,
and you got to keep going.
okay.
That's
I like
that's
I like that. And so I'm going to paraphrase that. And the reason that I do that is, Stephen, your words are eloquent, and I need chunks. The way that my brain operate, you got to give it to me in bits, in pieces, in little chunks, so that I can digest it. And so, if I understand you correctly, so say me. Resilience is about direction, and grit is about endurance. I love what you said, what is like you got this, the this that we need to master resiliency is the North Star. And that prepares our mind to know that's the long term thing. That's the long game. That's not an immediate situation. Hey, I'm here. You have to be committed to the this and resiliency, that sense of direction of where you're going, so that we're not distracted when stuff happens.
Yeah.
And the grit is the endurance to know that stuff happens and fine, work through it, move through it. But that resiliency keeps you focused on the direction where you say you want your life to be, so that you know how to just keep forging through, even though it's uncomfortable, even though it's costly, physically, financially, relationally, family. I mean, it cost you something mentally, like it cost you something. That's the endurance, the grit to say, grin and bear it, but keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a great friend. His name is Adam Peters, Adam S. Peters. You can check out his website. Um, and I love his phrasing. So it's not my phrasing. I want to give it correctly to him. Something happens, and he says, "This is good," and because, and he purposely goes through this because this just happened, and this is good because.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that to me is the literally practicing the skill of grit.
Yes.
And then there's the other part of that where um, you're adaptable and adjusting and flexing for the long term, and that's the
Yes.
resilience. That's in my book. It's I not to hat tip, but it's really what it is. Is it's adaptability and growth, which is I think it's the sixth law.
Hmm.
Adaptability and growth mindset, because resilience is something that if you're planning long term, you already have your North Star. We've already talked about North Star. If not, check out those episodes. Um, you go into this knowing your passion and where you're going, your purpose, your why. The North Star is just this combination of everything, all the great feelings and joy to get going.
Yeah.
And so you have that as your foundation, and then you plan it out. That plan of knowing where you're going is almost like your GPS.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then when you're trekking through the forest and you fall down a cavern and you have to go take the long wreck, that's the grit. That's okay, well, I'm going to still stay to my compass,
Yeah.
but I just have to take a little bit longer route. Maybe it might end up being a little bit scenic. You see a waterfall or something. And that's kind of sort of the analogy I could see there.
I had the privilege of talking to two clients where there are a couple today, mastering resiliency and being able to endure and adapt to the changes, the grit in their life. They both are now in professions where they're operating in their passion. And
Mm,
part of the thing that brought them to me was they were so very dissatisfied, disheartened, and just frustrated about when will they get to their this. One young lady, the young lady, she was entrepreneur, had this amazing gift, and was tired and frustrated of working for the government, felt like she didn't get promoted and all of the things. And she kept part of the sessions was around, I'm going to borrow from you, Stephen, her finding and anchoring on that North Star. And she just kept going and enduring some of the setbacks and different things, the obstacles. And likewise, her husband, although he had ascended really high, really moving to the level of SES, like the highest you can go, he still knew that there's so much more. And in that, working through the frustration, in that, not focusing on the time that it takes. I'm mentioning this is because it's been my experience, and it was the experience of my clients, that they began to allow time to distract them from the North Star. And that we get discouraged. And so we don't have an appreciation, like your friend said, oh, like this is happening. And they program their mind, the gentleman you just said, like this is happening because, and I'm okay with it. Like here is an exciting opportunity. So it took some years or some doing
Mm,
for this couple to get there. And once they got there, they began to just focus on that. Abar, I love that, their North Star and the resiliency. There something that happened. There became a certainty and an assurance or full-fledged belief that what they desire, what they're hoping for, building for, and expecting will happen. And in fact, they had written it down back in 2023, 20, yeah, maybe 2022, 2023. And here it is in 2026.
mm,
I had them go back and get that journal and read every single thing was checked off. The wife is in the
love it.
entrepreneurship space. The husband is the VP director of all that he wanted, the children, all of those things. And we talked about the grit, the endurance when you got the rejection, the endurance when you were told no or overlooked, the resiliency to stay the course toward your North Star. And so I share that with you that wow, it was 2023 when they wrote that, it's 2026. They're sitting in it. Part of the thing, Stephen, that we have to be mindful of and get our mind right is not to allow time to be a distraction and or a discouragement because it can deter us right from that North Star.
I love that. I love case studies like that too. It's absolutely beautiful to me. And what I'm really picking up from what you're saying and on this case study is there is this skill that they're exercising. And what I didn't hear
Mhm.
was things that I call emotions, like motivation, discipline. Discipline is a more to me of a an emotion because you could feel it one day and it can be so fleeting the next day. And
Huh.
distraction comes into it. Yes, you can exercise discipline, but I would say root cause. And this is where I would take that case study. This is my mind. This is actually what I teach. It's part of the book is discipline is what we call the external thing that we see. Look, Anya, I see you. You're going to the gym. You're working hard on your entrepreneurship and on your business. You are so disciplined. On inside,
Yes,
what this is self-respect.
I love that. I love this. So say me, but this will be a, I'm gonna have to add to it. It's gonna be so say Stephen. It is, I love that. That is self-respect. And for me, the discipline, 100% agree with you, Stephen, that the discipline that any of us see or that you yourself, your audience, engage in, really at the core, it came from a decision, right? Discipline it, so say me, is the manifestation of the decision, right? Which is
Exactly.
higher than the emotion or the feelings, than the motivation, the surge of emotion, excitement, adrenaline based on that fleeting thought. That comes and that goes. For you to finish your book and it is out, I mean, you did that Stephen, at the core, and you know this because you teach this, your North Star was your direction. And then you made a decision about what you're going to be, who you're going to be, and the rest of the world. We get the benefit of your discipline, right?
Right.
We are looking at it. We get to encounter it and experience it. But at the core, one day, somehow, wherever you were, you made a decision and you held yourself to that standard, which cultivated that consistency. that resilience when you didn't know how to do the publishing. You had to teach yourself how to self publish. You had to teach yourself formatting, all of the all of the things, right? That grit, and you didn't let loose. You didn't give up. You didn't turn loose. It's okay you got frustrated. It's okay you were exhausted. It's all of that, but you didn't shake that thing loose until you produce what you had decided to do. And so I think that your own life is an example, a case study of what it looks like, about what you're speaking about in your book, and about how we master resiliency. You are an example of that. You are physical, tangible, breathable proof of the very principles that you're teaching in your book.
And and that's purposely done. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot of grit and resilience with the book. There was a
Hmm.
lot of, like you were saying, difficult times.
Hmm.
And without the cheerleading section, and without those who are helping, and without those saying, "How you doing? Are you editing? Are you formatting?"
Hmm.
Without those, those great people around me,
That's right.
it would have been a lot harder to do. But you're absolutely right. At the end, it's not motivation.
Right.
It's not discipline. Discipline is, like I said, I still call it motivate. I still call it an emotion,
Hmm. I
because
like them.
we go to seek to feel
Yes.
disciplined,
Yeah.
and it's fleeting. Some days you wake up and you're just like, I'm not doing this. I'm not disciplined. And then that
Hmm.
story starts to loop. And then the next time you go back to it, that starts to loop. And then after a while, you only remember that loop.
That's good.
And so instead, it's, am I going to respect myself? I wake up, man, it's difficult. Am I going to respect myself and
Yeah.
carry on with my purpose, with my North Star?
Yeah.
And some days, trust me, that's hard to do.
But that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. It's when we make so you make the decision about what self-love is going to look like.
Hmm.
You made a decision about what self-respect is going to look like. You made a decision to lock in and get to your North Star. And so I think that that is such a powerful place with regard to mindset. And now you have an opportunity, your audience, we get an opportunity to figure out what narrative, what conversation will we share with ourselves, tell ourselves, that's going to keep us in alignment with our North Star,
Yeah,
to override the "I don't feel like it, I'll just do it tomorrow, this is too hard." All of those may be options, all of those may be the facts. It very well is true how you're feeling, but we need that other voice to really override the voice that will say, "Stay where you are." Stay, if it's not imminent danger and the voice, inspiring you to take action to protect you, other than that, you got to keep moving toward that North Star. And so that's what you really shared. And I think that that's important, especially when we talk about the emotions, the motivation being an emotion. We
yeah,
have to want to feel like something. And I'm saying that let experience the feelings. You can even express the feelings, but you're making these decisions based on the facts.
yeah.
That's what stands.
And
Make your decisions based on the facts, because the feelings they're gonna flow and they're gonna go. But are you where you want to be, doing what you said you wanted to do, becoming who you said you wanted to become? You do that based on your decisions, which turn into those habits, and that becomes your discipline, which builds that resiliency. It builds that tenacity. It builds and sharpens that grit. And so I found in my own life, Stephen, especially in an entrepreneurial space, that decision, there's a part of in that decision, it won't let me quit. I
yeah,
get tired and frustrated. A real life conversation I had with my staff yesterday, entrepreneurial stuff, the what do you call it? The balance sheet isn't balancing. The outgoing is exceeding the incoming. Something isn't working. The numbers, as the people say, the math isn't mathing.
Yeah.
And I'm having these conversations with my accountant. I'm having these conversations with my team. And some of their feedback is shut it down.
Mm,
Shut it down. Just
mm,
mastering resilience. And I thought, well, that would be easy. It would, honest to goodness, allow me to feel some relief. Whew. And then talk back to yourself. So say me, because you believe you. I started talking to myself. Stephen, this is to your point. The North Star, I'm going to use that language to make the point, started talking to me. We're going in this direction. So knuck up, head up, feet flat, shoulders back, and let's face this head on.
mm.
Let's find the solution. There is a problem. Grit. There's an obstacle. There's a problem that needs to be solved. Something isn't going ideally the way that it needs to.
Right.
That has nothing to do with the North Star. The North Star is how I make my decisions. And because we're going this way, it gave me an opportunity to pause, take a breath. I received the feedback. I analyzed the feedback up against my North Star.
Mm,
Everything that was aligned, I kept it, tweaked it, and said we're going to use it. Everything that wasn't, I filed it under T for trash.
yeah. I
Right?
love it.
And so, and I'm moving in that as a result of the decision. But I promise you, yesterday, my emotions, my feelings, all of it said, I'm over it. It's too hard. I've tried too long. It still hasn't worked. Maybe this isn't for me. What was I thinking? All of the emotions began to just, and I had to stop myself and talk back to myself. And sometimes beautiful people talk aloud, aloud. Sometimes
Yeah.
you have to override all of those internal dialogues that's in you that comes to really sabotage the new version of you.
There's something
That's why
about hearing it. Yeah.
it is. And I literally, I probably looked a little touched, but I did it because I said, self, that's how I talk to myself. Self, like, you were created to do this. You will not quit. There's no quit in you. This is an opportunity for you to learn another way, but we're still going north.
Exactly.
We are still going north. So if you need a nap, if you need a break, whatever it is, get yourself a glass of water, whatever it is, catch your breath, find your rhythm, find your pace, and get back in. And by today, I started devising plans and said, okay, we're going to do this, all in direction of my North Star, taking in consideration some of the feedback that I received, but none of the feedback that said just quit did I entertain.
See, I love this because this is precisely the mastery part of the title.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the moment, when you started to feel yourself stray off course,
Mm-hmm.
you remained steadfast and then allowed yourself to reset,
Yes.
became clear in the moment. And really, in the moment, that's very difficult to do. So when you did that, I imagine, and I'm just imagining, maybe I'm predicting the future, maybe I'm wrong, so you can tell me. But I think that maybe it sounded like you took all of this and then broke it down into what is true,
Yes.
what you're aligned with, made sure it
Yes.
was clear and specific, and said, this is where I'm going.
Yes, well said. Actually, you got it. You nailed it. Well said. Because one of the things that well said, Stephen, I was feeling overwhelmed. I was drowning in information.
Mm-hmm.
I was suffering emotionally, and I was battling two different, I know it sounds a little simple, but I was battling multiple voices. The voices that say, just quit, forget it. Just, I mean, you didn't forget it. Who cares? And then the others that said, no, this is what you built for this. You can handle this. So all of that was daunting and it felt heavy.
So
And
if I
mhm,
can call that out, I love this because I experienced this so much. I went through this week as well. Um, those two different voices are two
mhm,
different yous.
yeah,
The old wiring that would have done this,
yeah,
and the new you that's building and forming the new future you.
yeah,
And I absolutely love this about psychology, neuroplasticity. I love this about behavioral science and cognitive thinking. I love it. It's just
yeah,
amazing to us, to me, as human beings, we are designed to adapt in such a growth way.
yeah,
So, but the journey is sometimes it's two or three or four different voices. Those are old versions that are advising wrongly because that's what they would have done.
yeah.
And then
And
there's the
that's true.
future you saying, stay steadfast.
Yeah. And so so it's so important. You and I had spoken before, and one of the things you had supported me and given me some great feedback. And I'm gonna have to start saying, so say Stephen. But the North Star, you had me write some things down, Stephen. And I remember because I got my journal. And when I spoke with you, I was overwhelmed. I felt conflicted and confused, just completely discouraged. Again, and by the way, to your listening audience, sometimes this is a roller coaster before you hit uh, flat, even ground, and then it still moves again. So just understand that this is a living, breathing experience that's always evolving and changing. And so I was having a moment, and you invited me to first get focused, get still, and focus on what is my North Star. And then you had me write down my values to make sure that the decisions that I'm making are in alignment with my values. And that by itself, it will lead me and guide me and be support to me on my North Star. And that really was helpful because it allowed me to get clear and solidify what I'm doing and a value aligned with why I'm doing it. And so in that haze yesterday, because the numbers, the math wasn't math thing at all. The math was so whack, it was discouraging to see.
Hmm.
I had to go back to the values. I had to go back to the self-talk. Self, like, get yourself together. This will pass. Here's another opportunity for you to learn something. And I will offer you this lastly. It is okay, or at least for me, so say me, I give me permission to take care of me. And what I mean by that, Stephen, is in this entrepreneurship, in this developing and cultivating our resiliency, in us bearing under the grit of the doing and the being and the becoming, honor your honesty.
Mm.
When you need a break, take it. So I gave me a timeout. I can't do another meeting. I can't get any more information. I am full. I just need a moment so that I can digest and process and get back to the center of me so that I'll know what is the next right decision for the goal, the dream, the North Star. And there I can begin to move. So make sure that while we are being true to ourselves, that we also pause long enough to honor our honesty. I'm sleepy.
Hmm.
I'm overwhelmed. And these are feelings, they'll pass. I'm tired. I'm confused. I'm scared. I need a walk. I need some music. I need a good laugh. I need a nap. I need a sandwich. Whatever that is, take care of you so that you can have the strength, the clarity, and the energy to take care of the North Star.
Exactly. I love it. And then one of the things I thought of is when we were doing the roller coaster, talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the one thing that I've seen, I've experienced at least in my life. Maybe Laconia, you have too. But that roller coaster levels up with you.
Yeah.
And if sometimes you're on a downslope, it's usually because there's something that you haven't learned that you were supposed to learn. That's been my experience, anyways. Um, with that downslope, but that it levels up with you because as you grow on your journey through
Mm-hmm.
this, as you
Mm-hmm.
master greater things and you build more resiliency and grit, these core values. I like to call them core values because they're skills.
Yeah.
Respect, self-respect is a skill. You practice it.
Yeah.
It's like you're taking a shot,
Yeah.
you're practicing it. And
Mm-hmm.
as you level up, you're meant to have a greater responsibility. And your greater responsibility comes with the lack of a better word here, the tuition to pay
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
so that
Well
you
said.
can pay it forwards towards your North Star.
Yes.
And
It's
it's
necessary.
it's very difficult to remember that. It's very
Yeah.
difficult to remember that because it's sometimes that weight's just like, I used to never have to worry about all of this stuff. But you have gotten to a certain point where your mastery, and you might not see it. I'm one of those people. I don't necessarily always see it. I don't necessarily
Right.
see the capability, and
Mm-hmm.
it weighs on you. So
Right.
that's it's important because I love how you touched on that that roller coaster journey,
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship, mastery, self mastery, all of them.
Yeah.
It's a roller coaster journey, and the responsibility levels up with you.
Yeah.
Problems that you take with you become harder to face. So when you're faced with a problem, don't run from it. Work through it. Another part of your story I absolutely love is the ability to experiment and iterate
Mm-hmm.
until you get a success.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That is such a entrepreneurship quality. In my book, Seven Laws of Personal Mastery, I refer to it as plan, learn, act, reflect. I'm plan, learn, act, reflect because you have a plan, you learn along the journey, you have to act, reflect. Reflection creates learning and planning,
That's the norm. Mm-hmm.
then acting again.
And
And
it also builds efficacy,
yes, exactly.
right? And so now you begin to not only do you love yourself and respect yourself, you learn to trust yourself
Precisely.
from from that. So it also builds efficacy. Yes.
Yes. And the failures are only feedback.
Yeah.
Don't tangle the emotions in with it.
Yeah.
Failures are only feedback. They're data pointing you to the correct answer for the situation. If you think
Mm-hmm.
about it, what was it? Thomas Edison learned how many ways to create the wrong kind of light bulb first.
Yeah.
That's the story. That's how it is. Is all of these great people learned the wrong way to do the thing 1,000 times. The
And
this.
And actually,
Thousands.
even if we expand on Thomas Edison, those perceived failures were really the introduction to other useful interventions.
Yeah.
Right? And so all the areas that we fail at, so for me, struggling, like trying to understand accounts receivable or this AI, to build these sites and to connect the store, all of the stuff, right? I got it wrong. But I've learned some things like, oh, this is connected with that. And if you do this is that. So while I may not use it for this project, somehow what it taught me is I just didn't have an appreciation for it as how thing I like to say, so say me, everything that's connected is affected.
Beautiful. I love that.
Everything that's connected is affected. So because I failed at, like I didn't link the Wix with the Shopify with the other thing. I'm like, where did that go? Where did that go? How come the product didn't show up? There was a step that was missing. I now realize, oh, that's what the significance of that is. And so even the failures are useful for something else, even if it's not for what you're working on right now. So there's nothing that's wasted. There's no wasted time. It's waiting time.
Oh,
So
I
say
love that.
until it's appropriate use.
I love that. And that's so true. And I was listening to a podcast. I don't remember the gentleman's name. Um, but he's a billionaire now and all of this other stuff. But he was talking about how he started. He came from India. His parents spent a lot of money and just go to India, go from India to America. And he was 16 and he had made all of these mistakes. And at some point in time, he became the best he could become at teaching tennis. Wasn't his journey, wasn't his passion, but he doubled down on just that and got to meet some of the other great people that wanted private teaching lessons. And those conversations led him to where he's at now. And it's just like not related, doesn't feel, it feels like you're wasting your life, feels like reflection back is, I love that. It was waiting time.
Yeah,
Waiting
yeah,
time. I love that.
yeah. Yeah, there's no, so say me, there's no such thing as wasted time, only waiting time for its proper use. And so even the failures,
Yeah.
um, what I didn't know for entrepreneur, and I know we got to wrap up, when we had the pandemic in 2021, entrepreneur failure, the resiliency, my books were terrible.
Mm.
They tell you, some people say get QuickBooks, and I had QuickBooks. Well, you know, QuickBooks work. It's funny now. QuickBooks only work if you connect it
Yeah.
to the accounts. Well, I never did. See, everything connected is effective. My books were, oh man, PPP money for entrepreneurs, for business. My stuff was raggedy.
Mm.
I got no relief from the PPE because my stuff was raggedy. There were one, two, maybe three accountants working trying to help me to clean it up to meet deadlines. And that's when I learned. They were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Huh." I had avoided that. I didn't want to tackle that. I was like, "Oh, it's too hard." But we sat and I had to learn something. And that's when I had an appreciation. I was like, well, I missed out on the PPP money, the loan, and all of the support that the government was giving to the entrepreneurs. However, I am grateful this day because it taught me the importance of having first things first.
Mm.
First things first. So I don't play with the books anymore. It's not. My books are done. Like, but had it not been for that situation, and so I'm grateful for the stress that I was under because there were deadlines. If you were going to get any government assistance, you had to submit, and there was deadlines. So the stress that I was under, the sleepless nights, the grit that you're talking about to get it all done, the endurance that we're talking about, and I got it done. Missed the deadline though by a margin. But when it was all said and done, it was later, Stephen, that I said, I'm so glad I had this experience.
Yeah.
Because had I not, I wouldn't have put my books and put my affairs in order. And now that it is clean, it is organized, I can see where we are and I can plan for where we're going, North Star. And it is encouraging to me because I stood, I didn't shrink back, I weathered and endured the emotional discomfort. Oh, by the way, there was shame. I had to look these
Mm.
professionals in their eye while they grilled me and asked me questions that I could not answer about my own business because I had buried my head in the sand. So I had to pick myself up, look them in the eye, talk to me. You're going to do the difficult. You're going to sit here. You're going to learn the language. You're
Mhm.
going to answer these questions. You're going to be quiet and be taught.
Mm.
This is part of entrepreneurship,
Yeah,
right? You're always a student and
always.
it always works for your good. So, whether it's you end up teaching tennis so that you can meet the person who is in alignment with your goals, in alignment with your values, pointing you and facilitating and supporting you towards your North Star, or whether you have a team sitting at a dining room table and conference room table pouring over numbers to put the business aspect of financials in order, it is always, always for your good if you learn to master have the tenacity to master the endurance, the resilience. If you do not quit, if you stay the course, even when it's emotionally, mentally, physically, or financially difficult, you'll get to the other side.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, and that takes part of it. We're gonna get wrapping up here, but part of that takes the emotional intelligence
Mm,
to
mm,
monitor yourself, step back, take a breath, get back into the game,
mhm,
keep going. And it speaks loudly to the emotional intelligence, and the skills that you're building in the process.
mhm,
With that said,
mhm.
I'm Stephen McConnell, coach and founder of Growth Mindset Initiative, author uh, of Seven Laws of Personal Mastery. If you're interested, purchase it on my website, mindsetgrowth.com. That's MY, like you're owning your mindset, mindsetgrowth.com. And Laconia?
I am Laconia Reed. I am the founder of Choices International. If you're looking for individual counseling and or coaching, coaching is for those who already have insight but need support in executing on action. You can find us at choicesintl.org, or you can find us at contact us at choicesintl.org. Until next time, beautiful people.
Take care.
Bye bye.